Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So I learned a very valuable lesson just now. So I already recorded this video, but for some reason my mic did not work. So I had to go through some settings, and I've done 3 tests so far, and the mic now is on. So in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I create a natural border on my projects. So let's do this. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to open up inventables.com, go to Easel, click here, explore Easel. Going to, you would click new project, but I've already started it. Oh. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Explore Easel. I'll show you how to set the dimensions and all that fun jazz again. So let's delete this. Okay. Alright, new project. Alright, so Easel's loaded up. It gives you your default settings. Now, the project I'm working on is the wood's going to be cut at 7 1/4. 7.25 inches by 7.25 inches. Alright, so, and once again, thickness, I'm not going to worry about that because I'm not going all the way through the material. So, if you have a 3018 Pro CNC machine, it has limits in regards to how big a material you can do in regards to length and width. I have found that 7 1/4, 7 1/4 is about the limit that I like to do in regards to having like a squared off piece of wood. Some of my projects I'll have it like 5 1/2 by 8 or 9, depending on what needs to be done. But for this project I'm doing 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. Alright, so I set the dimensions. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go ahead and set my bit to 90 degrees. 90 degree V bit. Automatically it says, hey, you need to have Pro. See? So what you can do is Easel, with Easel you can do Pro for 4 days free each month. And so I'm going to use one of my free days. Eventually I'm going to get Pro, but for right now I just use the free days. Alright, so I've got my material 7 1/4 and 7 1/4. This is what it will look like when it's cut. This is where you make all your edits and modifications. So when I'm talking about doing a natural border, I'm talking about doing a square because, well, the reason why I do a natural border, I stumbled across this. So if you try to zero in on 0 0 on a 7 1/4 7 1/4 board, the machine will crash when it gets to try and cut in this area here. It's going to crash because once again there's limits to this machine. So what I stumbled across is, okay, well, what if I were to create a border around this area here that I can tell the machine, yes, zero in here, but when it goes to cut, it will cut in this top area here, and it'll just cut a border all the way around. And so what I'll do is I'll come up here and go to my shapes, and I'll click on a square. So boom, it'll pop up a square. Once again, all the default settings come in, clear out of pocket, 0.2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click shape, and I'm going to come here, and the dimensions I'm doing is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Gonna go ahead and lock that in place so that the dimensions will not change. So it gives you your square at 5 3/4. So then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go edit center to material. Excuse me. And so that's going to put that box right in the material, right into the center. So as you can see, with the default, what it's going to do is the machine's going to carve this out And what I like to do is I'll take a piece of wood and I'll paint it or stain it. In this project I'm going to be painting it black, so the whole piece of wood black. So when this cuts, it's going to leave the black frame. Now the project I'm working on is for a buddy of mine, and he is having me do a logo, so I'm going to go ahead and import it in. So I'll go to File, Import SVG, make sure it's in an SVG format. That's the only way Easel will recognize it. You can do G codes, but I don't mess with that. I just find an image and convert it into an SVG, which I will show you guys in a later video. So we're working on Sam's logo. Alright, so first thing you need to do, you see how it has brought it in, but there's so many different little boxes for each little individual letter. So if I weren't paying attention and say I click off of it and I try to move, say I try to move this, it's only going to move the lamp, it won't move the lettering. So I'll come up here and I'll go Edit, Combine. That takes that whole image and makes it into one piece. And so now I need to get it to fit into this box. Edit Center Material. I make it just a little bit bigger. Let's see what this does. Edit Center to Material. There we go. Alright, so once again, Easel brings it in, default settings. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the program, no, I don't want you to cut all the way through. What I want you to do is cut nothing of the logo. So the rectangle is going to be cut at 0.12. So the machine's going to cut this out. Generate detailed preview. Alright, so the bit, what it's going to do is the bit's going to carve into here. So this is, once again, this is all black. So it's going to carve and it's going to keep this, or it's going to have that natural wood look, but yet here with the lamp, as you can see, the bit's going to come around. It's going to give it that nice curved edge. So this will remain black, as well as the lettering will remain black. This is something that I really like doing. It looks really good in the end. One thing I was worried about when I first was going to work on this project was the lettering here. There we go. So I'll show you over here. Oh, that's not what I want. How do I get rid of you? I forget. There it is. So the letterings, I mean, that's very detailed and thin. And so if I were to try and say not use a 90-degree bit, which is going to give it that nice kind of a curved lettering. Say I were to use what I usually do, go down to end mills, and I'll enter in that I'm doing a 1 millimeter bit. Generate preview. So these little pieces here, they will probably chip because they're so thin. The lettering is just so thin it will probably chip. And so I told him, I was just like, hey, I might have to alter to the design, or I'll send it back to you and you'll have to redo the lettering. But I am liking what it's going to do with the 90-degree bit. There it goes. Alright, so like I said, paint the wood any color you want. I usually do black. You can do white, blue, whatever color you want. Put in the dimensions of the piece. Make the rectangle or square and put in whatever dimensions to give you that natural border. Now, Another thing you can do is, say you still want to cut on a 7 1/4 and 7 1/4 inch board, but you don't want to do the frame, but yet you still want the logo to fit in the 7 1/4. All you would do is you would just come here, click on the square, put that at 0. Oh no, what happened? You can't see anything because the lettering is still at 0. So edit, undo modify cut, click on the logo. Now let's say we're going to cut this at 0.05. Come back to here, put it in at 0. Boom. Generate preview. So you'll still be able to do this logo and cut it on a 7 1/4 and 7 1/4, and you can adjust this rectangle or the square to get it to where you know it will cut without crashing the machine. But I personally like it when it does the natural frame. 0.12. Now one thing you could do is you could actually do this. So what you're telling the machine is, okay, I want my square cut at 0.12, but I want the logo cut at 0.2 inches. And so what you'll get is, alright, it's going to cut this out. Let's generate preview so you can see a little better. So it's going to cut it, it's going to cut that out, and then it's going to engrave even more logo that he's wanting. As you can see, the lettering, that might turn out pretty neat. I'm not sure. But all that will be natural, and that will be natural as well. So there is that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back at 0. 0. Generate preview, and voila. Now you gotta go to your cut settings, and if you are not using an X-Carve or one of the fancier CNC machines, you need to change these. Otherwise you're going to tear up your motor. So I usually change it to these settings right here. Boom. Oh, also, the guy suggested that I use one of these options, the X-axis and the Y-axis, so it cuts on a different pattern. So I'm going to use the X-axis on this project here. Now I don't have the machine hooked up because that would have this loud noise in the background. So I'm not going to go through cutting it, but that is the project, and let's go ahead and simulate to see how long this little bad boy is going to take. It's going to take a while. Yeah, when you do this type of project, it's going to take a while. Yeah, 5 hours and 23 minutes. Honestly, that's probably going to end up being more like 5.5 to 5 hours and 45 minutes, maybe even 6 hours, depending. So, and you can hide the material and show exactly the path that it's going to take. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys learned something. Please like and subscribe to the Grace Wood Shop. Also, I have added our Etsy website, so if you would like to purchase any of our items, please check us out. Y'all have a good day.